If we do this, we'd be going in short-handed. If we do this, we'd be going in short-handed.
Welcome everyone to Marvel Hub. This is DK Dynamite, and as you heard Bruce say, if they do this, they'll be going in empty-handed. So what that really means is that in the first act of the film, as we previously leaked, as we've previously reported, the Avengers, without Iron Man, without Ant-Man, without Hawkeye, and probably without Bruce Banner since we can't see him in this shot, without them, they're going to try to go face Thanos because they think that with the help of Captain Marvel, they now have the upper hand. But the Avengers will soon come to realize that without everybody on the team, without the core and without the OG6 on the team, they just can't win. And this confirms it. From the trailer himself, Bruce even says they'll be going in empty-handed because they don't have Tony, they don't have Hawkeye, and they don't have Ant-Man. Now, obviously Hawkeye could probably help out the least when it comes to facing Thanos, but they still feel short-handed. And I also think that's also in reference to how he can't get the Hulk to come out, so he feels like he's not much use to the team, so he probably stays behind. So we have Captain Marvel, Rocket flying the Guardian ship, we then have Cap in his Winter Soldier uniform, we have Natasha with her blonde hair, and we then have War Machine and Thor sitting in the back. That is the team that will go to the Garden along with Nebula to fight Thanos, thinking that they can actually win in the first act of the film. Now, if this is true, this is a pretty mind-blowing first act. A lot of action going on, a pretty massive battle, and obviously the team is going to lose, and when they return, Tony will of course come back, Scott exits the quantum realm, they kind of meet up a little bit, they go recruit Hawkeye, and they go over a bigger plan to use the quantum realm to collect other versions of the Infinity Stones from previous events, which obviously alter the timeline a little bit, so they can forge their own gauntlet to then defeat Thanos and prevent the snap from ever happening. So this is also a part of Doctor Strange's plan that he mentioned at the end of Infinity War, saying this was the only way, and this was the one outcome out of 14,605,000 in which the Avengers actually win. But the Avengers aren't stupid for thinking that with Captain Marvel's help, they could beat Thanos. Obviously, she's really OP, but I think against the Infinity Stones, she'll probably come close, but not far enough to actually defeat him. So it's going to be a crazy first act. As I've stated before, obviously Cap is wearing his Winter Soldier uniform during the scene where they're flying on the ship, during the scene at the end of the very first look we got at Avengers Endgame as he's talking to Natasha with blonde hair. All of this is happening right after Infinity War ended. So right after Steve shaves, they're going to get help from Captain Marvel and they're going to go to space, to the Garden more specifically, to go find Thanos, but they will obviously fail. Later on in the film, when Tony and Hawkeye and Scott and then come to join the team so they can all be together, that's when Cap puts on his classic Captain America outfit with the scales, and that's the scenes we see from the new trailer where he has his classic shield and where they all go toe-to-toe against Thanos one last time. But if this means anything, it's that the Avengers all have to be together. All six of them, at least all six of the OGs, plus Captain Marvel, plus War Machine, and plus the remaining Guardians to actually be able to defeat him. So besides that, and besides more confirmation that our leak is in fact pretty damn accurate right now, I also wanted to go over a pretty cool article that I saw over on the Marvel Studios Spoilers Reddit, written by Angels Have Wings, and he talks about how this scene right here is pretty damn good CGI if this is the same shot that we've seen from some leaked photos that were released of the actual set of Avengers Endgame. So in these set photos, we see present Tony looking a little older, talking to 2012 Cap in his original Captain America uniform that he wore in the first Avengers film. So obviously confirming some time traveling going on where present day Tony and present day Scott go back to 2012 in attempts to retrieve maybe both the Tesseract and the Mind Stone from Loki's staff, but obviously come face to face with the 2012 versions of the actual Avengers. And maybe the shot in the trailer where Tony is asking Steve if he trusts him is just a shot that was edited a little bit to make it seem like Tony is talking to a present day Cap with his Nomad uniform or with his new Captain America outfit, when in reality it's actually Cap wearing his classic uniform from 2012, and that's why Cap says he trusts that present day Tony, who's probably probably asking him to get the Tesseract or to get maybe Loki's scepter with the Mind Stone in it. Maybe that's what that scene is, unless they shot the same scene twice with two different outfits that Cap's wearing, then maybe this was just all CGI, which looks phenomenal here in the trailer, of course. Definitely very believable if you ask me, but I really do think that the time traveling in this movie is going to be really damn fun, pretty damn exciting to revisit some of these past events from phases 1, 2, and 3, but there are people out there who are saying that the MCU will be rewritten at the end of Endgame, and I really don't see that happening, because how could you have a Captain Marvel 2, a Doctor Strange 2, or even a Black Panther 2, and even Spider-Man Far From Home, which is Spider-Man 2, if all the events before those movies, before their first solo outings, are rewritten? How could you really do that? Because you're essentially starting from scratch again if none of the past events in those solo films that all those characters had even happened at all. So you guys can let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. I certainly don't think they're going to rewrite the entire MCU, maybe some events here and there to accommodate for new characters being added in, like the Eternals, Shang-Chi, the Fox characters. Maybe something that happens in Endgame does spark some new storyline to arise in future Marvel movies, which allows for new characters to come in, which allows for some bigger crossovers with other characters. Maybe that's what it'll do, but I don't think it'll rewrite the entirety of the phases we all know and love, because it's kind of a slap in the face to build all this up, release Infinity War, keep building hype towards this grand finale, and then just rewrite everything we've seen up until this point, all 22 films in the MCU. It just doesn't make much sense, and I don't see them doing that, because it would spawn a lot of outrage in the Marvel community, and I just don't think that's the right move to actually do with a big film like this. But I think that it'll leave the door open for other films in the future, which could explore time traveling, which could explore the quantum realm a little bit more, which could lead to some crazy storylines being developed in Ant-Man 3 to make it even more interesting. That's what it'll probably do, and I think if anything, it'll rewrite events in this alternate timeline, which isn't the main timeline we all know and love, but it definitely might even influence the Disney Plus TV show, which is coming out pretty soon. It's going to be the What If TV show, where they talk about the MCU with different events in them, with alternate outcomes of certain movies, with different things happening that aren't canon but are still interesting to speak about, and maybe Endgame will spark that show up a little bit and kind of influence anything that's going to be discussed in What If. So maybe in What If, they'll say, hey, well, what if the timeline that was altered in Avengers Endgame was actually the core timeline? This is what would happen at the end of Avengers 1, this is how Ultron would come to be, and so on and so forth. So it wouldn't be canon, but still something quite interesting to sit down and watch on Disney Plus. But that's about it. This has been DK Dynamite. Check out links down below in the description. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn notifications on to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Marvel news and information. And peace out, everyone.
The work is done. I won. What I'm about to do, I'm gonna enjoy it. Very, very much.
Tickets on sale now.
If we do this, we'd be going in short-handed.
Yeah, you mean because he killed all our friends?
We owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
It's not about how much we lost. It's about how much we have left. We're the Avengers. We gotta finish this. You trust me? I do. You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Tickets on sale now.
The work is done. I won. What I'm about to do, I'm gonna enjoy it. Very, very much.
Tickets on sale now.